Welcome back to another episode of High Minded with McCarter, featuring SK, my co-host.
Hey, hey.
I'm super excited to bring my friend and fellow, I would say, hemp advocate, Paul Talbot. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to talk about the differences between hemp and cannabis and just dive into the benefits of cannabinoids because a lot of people don't, I feel like, understand the differences. We were kind of talking at the beginning of last episode because SK was a bud tender and she still was having some difficulty recalling the differences of hemp and cannabis.
A lot of ignorance was going on in my mind, so...
Yeah, so that's why I hit you up.
Well, there's a lot of, I think, problems because the marijuana dispensaries are still pushing, pot as hemp. They sell CBD products basically because CBD is popular to people. People come in looking for CBD products and they don't want to get high, but they buy marijuana products and they think they're not going to get high and they leave with something that they don't really want. So then they come into stores like ours, Infused CBD Marketplace, and they buy products and they come in and they're like, well, we don't want anything that has any THC in it. And that's really like a huge misnomer because, having a trace amount of THC is different than anything you're going to get at a dispensary. It's hard to explain to people that are coming in and buying smokable products. It's like, well, what am I going to feel? And it's like, well, what do you feel when you take like vitamin C? Sometimes you don't feel anything. It really depends on your psychological makeup and what you're looking to accomplish. It's like these products don't get you high, and like there's nothing about them that's not medicinal, in its own nature. So, smokable products are great. Most of the smokable products we sell have no THC in them at all. So they just have terpenes and, CBD at a higher level.
So can you explain a little bit how that product is made, like go through all throughout the process, kind of backwards, I guess?
Well, I mean, when you come into our store, right, like, so there's different types of CBD products, right?
To preface, he has an amazing CBD store off of near Pearl Street in Boulder, and then you just opened up one near Denver.
Yeah, so we have one on 9th Street in Boulder, and then one in Lodi in Denver, and then we also have our online marketplace and a store in Connecticut. So, we carry a curated selection of products. We have about 36 or 7 different companies we work with, and about 180 products.
And they're all curated by you, correct?
Yeah, I mean, all our products are pretty... the first thing we look at when we bring products in is design, aesthetic. Aesthetic is very important to our store. And then quality, both price and the amount of CBD you're getting, and how it's grown, the story behind the company. A lot of people just buy white labeled stuff and they don't realize it. So they're just buying mass marketed produced, bio stuff, and they're just slapping a label on it and it looks like a 5th grader made it. People can get stuff cheap, but they're also getting a lower quality product. And I think it's hard to make people understand that when you're getting something quality, there's a lot more that goes into a product than just, getting something from a company, because a lot of companies just sell stuff to make money, right? And then there's a lot of companies that give back to the environment. They donate stuff to charity.
Yeah.
Like having to pay for the quality that you...
Yeah, but I'm all about quality.
To McCarter's
over
first
quantity.
question, she was like, talk to us about like how CBD is made or different types of it.
Well,
so there's full spectrum, there's broad spectrum, and then there's CBD isolate.
Perfect.
So, full spectrum is like buying NyQuil, right? Like you go to the store and you get NyQuil and it has a trace amount of alcohol in it, or kombucha, right? It's not going to get you high. It's not going to get you drunk. I mean, if you take enough of it, like some people do, they abuse stuff, then you can get high, right? Mm-hmm. There's always enough for like a single serving not to get you high, but if you take 30 servings,
right? If you abuse
you're gonna
anything,
be high. It's just like if you drank 30 bottles of NyQuil, you could probably get buzzed.
Pretty messed up. Yeah, totally.
I mean,
so everything is in moderation, and
So like for us at our store, we usually recommend about 16.5 to 33 milligrams as a single serving. Now, like a single serving for someone Everyone is different.
Wait, and that's milligrams of hemp or CBD or like a specific cannabinoid?
Of CBD.
Okay.
Just in general, like, so a CBD product.
Okay.
Whether it has other cannabinoids in it or not isn't really. I mean, when we're talking about that, we're talking about a basic CBD tincture.
Okay.
We're not talking about something with CBG or CBN or other,
Okay.
cannabinoids. Those have different dosages and different needs based on what you're trying to accomplish.
Okay.
So CBD, but that serving size can be taken as many times as you want throughout the day. Like, it's just not like you take one serving and you're like, good to go. I
Right.
often tell people it's like taking 800 milligrams of Advil in the morning. You're not going to take 800 milligrams of Advil in the afternoon. You might take 200 milligrams to pull you back up into that pain-free relief, area.
Okay, right.
And it's the same thing. Like, you might take a big loading dose in the morning of CBD or in the afternoon, and then you might take a little, puff off your vape, or take a mint that's like more of a microdose, or take another full dosage of tincture, whatever, gummy, whatever works for you. But that's the hardest part of, taking holistic healthcare products, is finding the dosage that works best for your
right.
needs.
I feel like that is the biggest problem for people or it's the biggest barrier for people wanting to get into hemp or try CBD or other cannabinoids. They're like, well, I don't know where to start, and I don't want to invest all this money in different products if I don't really know.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear there. Like, what if I take too much? What if what if I don't take enough and it doesn't work? And then I have invested in this thing, and it's like,
Right.
It's like anything you take that's holistic, it's, and then you have people that come in and they, leave, and then they probably end up going to a dispensary or some other place that doesn't give them the correct information, and they buy something, sativa and indica, right? Like, people come in and ask about sativa and indica, and sativa and indica really don't describe plants anymore. Dispensaries
So
are
true.
notorious for this. They're probably the worst characters in this whole world,
Yeah.
because they don't want to take and educate themselves anymore. They just want to give people the simple information.
Yeah.
But with all the hybrids that we have in the world now, you can't
It's
really.
like everything is a hybrid.
Yeah, but indica and sativa really only describe the plant. It doesn't really describe the qualities of the plants anymore.
Right.
So you go into a dispensary and you're buying a sativa and indica, and I read this article once, which was really interesting. They did a comparison of, let's say OG Kush from Colorado and OG Kush from California, right? And they both had completely different terpene profiles,
Yeah.
which means they do completely different things.
Yeah.
But you go to a dispensary and this is, I don't know, whatever it is, sativa or something, right? And people expect certain things based on that, but that's not what they're getting. So
Yeah.
when you come into our store and we sell CBD flower, it's not an indica or sativa. I mean, it could be, but it's just basically CBD. And then if you really want to know what's happening, then you look at the terpene profiles, and that really tells
Yeah.
you if it's going to be more energizing, more relaxing,
Totally.
more focus orientated. And you can't really have a bud tender know all this. I mean, you could, but
Some do, but some are just interested
it's
in getting
easier
high.
just to say it's like an indica or sativa
Right.
or a hybrid.
yeah, I mean, if there's hundreds of different things going on in the plant, to break it out of a binary just seems common sense, but it's just so much easier to be
Yeah.
there. It's like, I want the sativa, which will always give me this one effect.
Yeah, and back in
Yeah.
the day when
Impossible.
marijuana probably first became legal, and when we used to buy it from the drug dealer on the corner,
Yeah.
it's probably a little bit easier to say this is that. But now when you have people chemically engineering marijuana to
Yes.
make people crazy because there's so many THC compounds.
Oh
in
my
there.
gosh. You had the THCO and the THC.
I'm just saying the levels of
Yeah.
how high it is.
36% THC
Yeah.
plants and stuff
But
like
they're
that.
discovering new THC similar molecules that also get people high in a different way that's very new and not and that's what I was saying
Yeah.
with the THCO.
You were telling me about THCO.
I tried some in Vegas, and it this one girl puked, and another woman had to go to sleep. It totally wrecked her day.
Man.
Well, they're basically synthetic elements, and people, and that's we could talk about that too. I mean, it's crazy. People come in, look, and they think Delta 8
Oh yeah.
is CBD.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's
You know?
rough.
because people don't even
Delta
know.
8 is not CBD, people.
Don't
Well,
get it
people don't
twisted.
even know what Delta 9 is.
Right.
So Delta 9 is THC.
Mm-hmm.
Delta 8 is THC, but it's a different molecular compound.
Right.
But it's still
it's one isomer
THC.
different, technically, right?
Yeah, but you try to tell people, well, like, what is Delta 8? What is Delta 9? And they're like, oh, I don't know. I just want Delta 8, CBD.
Oh my gosh.
Aren't you counting your isomers?
There's so
customer?
many.
Yeah, but they don't even know when they go to it. Like, they
Right.
just, like, they think THC. They don't know what THC is. And that's what I'm trying to get across. Because, like, like you say, oh, you want Delta 9? And they're like, no, I want THC. I was reading about CBG today and CBGA because, like, a lot of people are really into CBDA, CBGA, and they really have no idea what it is. But I was on Leafly and I was like, these people should, like, check their spelling. It was like,
Oh my gosh.
even like in Leafly's like explanation of like what CBGA it was, they had it all like looked like the alphabet. It was all, I think it was CDGA or something like that. The way they spelled it, it was just spelt wrong. And I'm
Oh,
isn't
it's like a
Leafly's-
copy editor didn't even.
Yeah, they didn't even spell check it correctly.
Wow.
Christ.
But like now
Leafly
you
isn't
have
even
like
literate.
now you have people coming in looking for like CBDA, and they're like, well, CBDA isn't really like even readily available. It's just an acid that, you know, is in the plant.
Right.
You know,
That scientists have like discovered.
Yeah, I mean you can get it, but it's usually when you smoke something, you know, like so. You know, a lot of people buy marijuana or hemp flower, right? And they get sold something and they believe it's THC free, right? Mm-hmm. But what happens is that there's no THC, there's no Delta 9 in it. But there's still a large or a potentially large amount of THCA. So when you smoke the CBD flower, while there might be no trace amounts of Delta 9 when it's tested, when it decarboxylates, when you smoke it, you know, that acid turns into Delta 9 and now you have THC. So it's hard to say when you buy a flower that it's completely THC free, even if it's just, you know, a hemp product. Well, it's not going to get you high. You know, people come in and
Right.
you try to explain this to them when they have to pass a drug test.
Yeah, for sure.
You
That
know
was my
it-
next question.
And then they go somewhere and they buy, you know, this hemp flower from somewhere else and it says THC free, but what it really is it might still have a THCA content
Right.
that's not showing up as Delta 9,
Yeah.
but they're not taking into consideration what happens when someone smokes it, which is really fucked up for people that, you know, might fail a drug test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now, time for a quick commercial break. Are you looking for some reliable hemp products in your life? I'm really happy to tell you that Herbie, they're doing it right. They have specific cannabinoids that they extract from the hemp plant, such as CBD, CBG, or CBN. So Herbie offers these really cool products. They have gummies that are hemp infused and flour, as well as pre-rolls. My favorite products to use are the tinctures in the morning, and then I take a gummy before sleep. And when I'm feeling stressed throughout the day, sometimes I'll just smoke a hemp pre-roll to myself to calm down. And now through Christmas, all jarred and pre-roll hemp flour will be 40% off. And you can use code McCarter for 25% off your entire order at HelloHerbie.com. That's HelloHerbie.com.
So full spectrum has a trace amount of THC, and what people usually get, you know, they use this as I want a full spectrum product. They don't really even know what it means. You know, it is what it is. So full spectrum usually means that it has the full plant spectrum. There's nothing been taken out of the plant at all.
Full plant benefits,
Yeah.
as we say.
But then
Nice.
there's two different types. There's different types of crude distillate, you know, substance that you can use. So
Right.
there's full spectrum whole hemp oil, which still has all the chlorophyll in it. That's all the green shit. Like if you go to get a juice, you get the juice and that's what comes out of it, the chlorophyll. That's what, you know, you have in your juice. And that's what people like companies that just sell black sludge oil.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
it's-
I've seen it.
It's the
gross.
cheapest stuff you can make. There's no thought about it. It's basically like taking a plant, squeezing it into a bottle, putting a label on it, and charging people 300%, right?
Yeah,
You know, profit
yeah.
when they're not doing anything. You know, so like there's another
So
type.
the most basic, minimal extraction.
Yeah, is that. And there's different types of that. There's like black sludge, like the Onda cells, which tastes like garbage.
What? Hold on, it's actually called black sludge?
No, but that's what it looks like if you've ever
okay.
seen it.
No, I have.
It's like Prohibition era.
Well, but it's like kind of greenish, but it's very dark and gross.
Yeah, I mean, I
yeah.
have some at my house, like in this jar, and you pour it into a shot glass, and you can't even see light through it.
Ew.
It's so gross.
Okay, what's the next
But people
one?
think it's great, and it's like, are there benefits of having full?
Is that like a Rick Simpson oil?
It would be like an RSO, sure, in that type of area.
I don't even know what a Rick Simpson oil is, actually.
It's like black.
me neither.
It's like the black original oil, and then there's a distillate. So a distillate is like, now it's being distilled. It's having the chlorophyll removed out of it, so it's more of a clear oil.
Okay.
It's like honey. Like if you look at it,
a golden.
golden brown.
Okay.
It's really pretty.
Nice.
And like you can get it, and like when you can, if you put it in the sun, it melts. And you leave it, and it will recrystallize.
Okay.
And like whole spectrum whole hemp oil doesn't do that. It's just this crude stuff. So the distillate will crystallize, and then so the distillate is going to be more flavorless or flavor, more palatable.
Lacking the planty
Yeah, so we
taste.
sell both. We sell what we don't sell, like that, what I call black sludge.
They do not sell the black sludge, let's be clear.
Like we sell
Good.
products from Plant People, which is a whole hemp oil, Pachamama, which is a whole hemp oil, but they don't have that really like dark oil. It's a little bit clearer, and it's terpene infused. It has other benefits to it, but it's still going to be more. I consider it to be more like olive oil.
Okay.
So it's not as chlorophyll-y, but it's like still has that full spectrum.
Right.
All the nutrients that people seem to think is super important.
Okay.
Then the distillate, is nice because you can have different flavor profiles in it, or it just doesn't taste bad. Like our
Okay.
common ground products, like they have different terpenes in them or different cannabis terpenes that, make it taste better, like strawberry or lemon, in their wake or something like that.
Okay.
Terpinolene, myrcene, alpapinene, like compounds that make things naturally taste better.
Right.
So instead of having, that full spectrum oil that tastes like garbage, now you have something that actually is purposefully put in there to make it taste better, but still be, a full spectrum product.
Okay.
It's just a different type. And then there's broad spectrum, and broad is pretty easy to understand. It's like in a lot of cases in our store, it means that it doesn't have any THC in it, but that's not an industry, specific. Broad
Okay.
spectrum in its nature just means that there's something missing from the full spectrum.
Right.
So that's kind of like what we say to people. So you can't go to like Joe Schmo's, hemp store over there and be like, oh, do I get a broad spectrum product because they think it's THC free, right? That's not the case. It
Okay.
could still have THC, but it could have something else.
Okay.
And what's often really kind of interesting too is people, like full spectrum products, people think that they're getting this far superior product. But when you look at the COA, a certificate of analysis, a lot of times in the hemp industry, there's nothing else in this product outside of just CBD anyways. There might be all these other potential cannabinoids or potential, substances, but they usually read non-detect at best.
Okay.
They're like in trace amounts. So people, like they come in asking for this full spectrum product because they think they're getting, all these other cannabinoids, all this other stuff. But the way stuff is grown nowadays, it's so strong in one area that everything else is, even though it hasn't been removed, it's still not there.
Yeah. And
Which
is that
is-
from like genetic modification or like just like picking certain strains specifically?
Yeah, it's just the way things are grown. I mean, you could.
Selective breeding.
they want to like isolate certain cannabinoids.
Enhance certain ones.
Yeah.
You get broad spectrum products that, so broad spectrum products that are just, in our case, they just have CBD in them. They might have other cannabinoids in them, but they don't have any THC.
Okay.
So a broad spectrum product could be just like a full spectrum product. It just doesn't have the THC in it.
Right.
So people that come in that are looking for something that is, good for their drug test, right? They might, or they don't want to have any of that THC at all for specific reasons, work, whatever. They might be in the military, school, they might be in the police department, and they just don't want to have that.
Yeah.
And they have these products, or the isolate products, right? That are just the isolated CBD molecule, just a powder, looks like cocaine, and
But sometimes it's like water dissolvable.
There's water soluble products too, but
water soluble. Yeah.
I mean, you can have a full spectrum water soluble product. Doesn't have to be isolate. It's there's just different ways of making it. Like Common Ground, for instance, we sell their tea, and they have a full spectrum water soluble, spray that they put on their tea leaves that they infuse it that way.
Okay.
So
interesting.
CBD isolate isn't, just because it's water soluble doesn't mean it's THC free.
So what about, I'm seeing a lot of advertisements from CBD companies or like wholesale distributors for CBD, all about this like nano enhanced technology to like make the molecule smaller. So that helps with bioavailability?
Sure, bioavailability is a term that people don't really know much about, but it's just basically talking about the amount of substance that you get in your body when you take something, right?
Yeah.
So, every different consumption method has a different level of bioavailability. Smoking is your fastest form of consumption, right? If you want to have the best bioavailability, then you smoke. Happens super fast, gets into your system, but then it's out of your system super fast too, right? So there's pluses and minuses of different levels of bioavailability. Second fastest is oil. Put it under your tongue, tincture, whatever, some kind of consumable product you put in your mouth. That will take longer because your body still has to digest it. People believe that if you put it under your tongue, it absorbs into your bloodstream faster than you swallow it. So you're getting a faster bioavailability that way.
But does it depend on how big like the CBD molecule is? Well,
that's the difference. That's like nano is a smaller particle.
Right.
So they believe that it has a faster absorption rate, and you're getting more of that molecule for less.
Got it.
So let's say you have 10 milligrams of CBD, that's full spectrum oil, versus 10 milligrams of nano. And there's nothing factual about this statement.
Okay.
I'm just using it as an example, but let's say we have 10 milligrams of full spectrum oil and 10 milligrams of nano CBD. They say you get 3 milligrams of full spectrum oil versus like 6 milligrams or 8 milligrams of the nano.
Well, you were talking about the COAs with certain products, and you get that report. Is that something that's regulated and required by law, or where does that testing happen? How does it happen? Who's testing?
So most reputable manufacturers use, certain labs. There's a few labs, I forget the names, that, everyone uses. I remember back in the day when we first started, I've been doing this for almost 3 years now, and we've very rarely bring on new companies. We've been working with almost the same companies since we started as we are today. Obviously we bring on new ones. We just brought on a new smokable company, which is really nice. But, COAs are very important. But for us, we used to be so into COAs, but since we've been working with our companies for so long, we don't even really look for that information anymore.
Okay.
But a lot of the companies have that stuff readily available. They'll have it on their packaging with a QR code or something like that. We used to have it listed for all our products on our website, but then we changed websites and we just never got it back up. But, it's important for newer companies to be really straightforward. And I think the hemp industry in particular, self-regulates itself, for a lot of stuff.
So how did you get involved in the hemp industry?
Well, originally I used to run a digital ad tech company, and then I decided to stop doing that for a myriad of reasons. And my mother, she's a retired nurse, but she was retired because of injuries. So she's disabled. She's got herniated disc. She's got a neuropathy in her leg. She had many surgeries. She just can't work. And back in the day when marijuana first became legal, we used to ship her from Colorado to Connecticut, marijuana products that were high in CBD.
Yeah.
You know, but she still didn't like that because they would still make her all loopy and weird, which is already weird enough. But you know, so are all our moms. But so then the CBD came along, and so I was like, well, you know, I don't have millions of dollars to open a marijuana company, you know, and I probably not going to get a license or anything like that.
Yeah.
So, and you know, in 2018, when you know the Farm Bill came around, I was like, well, let's try, you know, doing this, and let's you know, let's start curating products and putting them in a place, you know, and open, you know, the store kind of came as a second, you know, to like the online thing, and that's kind of how it all happened. It was just like
So cool.
a new business, you know, helping, you know, people, because I've always been in holistic health, you know, was a massage therapist for 12 years and things like that. So I have a lot of holistic health experience in some senses. So
nice.
That knowledge with the, you know, the CBD and other things like that just seemed like it went hand in hand. So like trying to help people.
Right. Well, has CBD actually helped your mom?
Yeah, she takes about 50% less of her medications than she normally does, you know, and it's really made a big difference in her life.
That's amazing.
So, I mean, she's on a lot of, you know, pharmaceuticals from like stuff for pain relief, nerve pain relief, you know, and then pain medication to counteract the other medication. But, you know, she's been able to cut down on a lot of her stuff, and like even just taking like normal stuff like Advil and aspirin, like she's been able to, you know, replace that with like capsules, CBD capsules and things like that. So
nice.
I mean, it's not something that she's ever going to be able to stop taking, but to be able to supplement something with you know, something healthier.
I think that's such a powerful message.
Yeah. 50%, that's pretty huge.
Yeah, I mean, if it's not getting you high and it's not like, you know, like we sell functional products.
Yeah, totally.
You know, I mean, we sell products that don't get you high, that can help you, you know, feel more normal. You know, and well, there's benefits for everything. You know, I think the functional benefits for me are very important.
Yeah.
You know, it's nice to just be able to, you know, pop a few CBD gummies, you know, and feel more centered, you know, or more relaxed versus having like that weird feeling of being high and, you know, having more anxiety for some people. Or I remember when I was a kid, I used paranoia. I mean, I have increased pain when I get stoned.
Wow, really?
Yeah, all the baby pains and like my joints and everything like are intensified.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting.
So like it has the adverse effects that sometimes people are said to have. Yeah. Which is really weird. Like it makes me feel everything more. It's like all the pain is intensified.
Totally.
It's like why you have anxiety or why you get paranoid. It's like everything's heightened.
Yeah.
Right?
Wow, so true.
So like the CBD is nice because it doesn't have that benefit. Yeah. As far as intensifying.
Totally.
Making me more paranoid.
Oh, it's like, just again, like you had to go through an experience like THC and CBD on their own in order to know these things.
Well, this was when I was younger. I mean...
Yeah, but I feel like people don't want to do the work themselves is what I'm saying, you know? Yeah. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us today. Everyone check out Infused CBD Marketplace on Instagram. Yeah. And their website is... InfusedCBDMarketplace.com. There it is. Yeah. And hit him up with any hemp or CBD questions because he loves answering them.
No solicitation.
All right. Well, thanks again, Paul, for coming on.
Thank you so much.
And my pleasure. We'll catch you next time. Stay high.